Opening statement, guys. Have anything over the weekend?
Opening statement. Great win over University of Missouri. Nice weather outside. Sun shining. High temps of 78, I think.
Nice. Is it nice to the home state team?
I'm biased, and I think so. But Missouri's a good team, so
They are.
absolutely.
They did well.
We'll let Paul get set up real quick.
No, go ahead. Catch up.
Yeah, nice and warm. It's going to be in the 80s this week, right?
Great. It's crazy. We had snow 2 weeks ago.
Aaliyah, how about, let's start with you. Just coach after Friday's meet said we were awesome tonight. Now we got to do it back to back, right? Now we don't have to have an Arkansas meet, right? So just maybe talk to me about the motivation this week to be great again.
Yeah, the motivation this week comes from having such a great meet on Friday, but we also want to be able to do that anywhere. So the goal for this week is being able to do our normal, our every single day, but being able to do it in environments that we're not necessarily comfortable in, like the PMAC, for example, where everyone's just kind of pouring in support. We're going to walk into a place where they are not supportive of what we do on Friday. So keeping the same mindset of what we had going out here and really just carrying it into this week.
Yeah, I would just say we've had a meeting after Arkansas and stuff, and just talked about our process, and we really were grinding this week, and I think just taking that over into this week and making that change into the meet is going to help us towards Alabama.
I mean, I feel like that vault routine was really the talk of last week's meet. What was it like to really see the team come up and get those scores, and kind of are y'all still focusing on vault going into this week because of how last week was, or what are y'all looking to improve on more?
Yeah, I think we're looking to improve on vault and on all areas of competition. It was a great meet, but we weren't perfect. There's still a lot of work that can be put into this week as we go against Alabama. So, taking Friday and especially vault rotation, I think that should really boost our confidence as we head into this week.
Yeah, we'll start there, but then I want to get to Jeff. Just to have the girls hit like they did in vault, and to see some of them that KJ obviously, right, and Kalia, finally stick hers, I guess. What does that do for the team? And Jeff, I kind of wanted you to talk about it. What does it do for the bars rotation as far as getting you off to a good start? But we'll start with Aaliyah just because you were in it, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I think, having that vault rotation go as well as it did, that's a kind of definition of what we talk about saying starting fast and finishing strong. So that start fast portion really, gets the edge on your seat going, and be able to start off on such a good foot to be able to kind of not dig ourselves into a hole and be able to start kind of on top as we go through the meet.
Specifically the girls that were kind of struggling, or KJ starting with her rotation, what kind of confidence does that give for them going forward?
I think as soon as KJ planted her vault, I think we were all kind of okay, we're about to have a good rotation. And it's so great seeing her back out there. She's been working so hard to be able to push back into that lineup. And for this rotation to go how it did, it just goes to show that, kind of everything that we've been working for has paid off.
Yeah, going off of that, honestly, every leadoff person was a fire starter. Going off of the people in front of me, they did their job, and so it kind of just takes off the weight a little bit. It doesn't really change my process of how I really think. I really felt like the team was to themselves. It didn't feel like another team was on the floor with us, and so that really played a big part. And so just going up there and just doing my normal thing after.
Alexis, it's easy to get skewed by, you see that, Haley Bryant's won 96 titles here and stuff like that, and Aaliyah's been to the Olympics and everything, but to be a contributor, to get in there and compete, and to win an event, I mean, it's an achievement. Obviously you want to focus on the team, but just tell us a little bit about what it's like to have to compete against these girls, and then your teammates, and then you have to go out there and compete in a meet. It's got to be a it's got to be a level of achievement that you feel.
Yeah, I'm honestly super honored, and I'm really grateful to be on a team with them. Every single girl on this team is super talented. We have a lot of good people on our team, and so just being able to train next to them, especially Leah, I grew up with Leah, and so training in club with her has always been a blast. So I'm just really grateful to be on a team with everyone that's super good at what they do.
How do you handle the pressures of performing in front of a large crowd and national television? And how do you stay focused and in the right headspace?
I normally go up, I really don't think about the crowd. I'm really to myself. I block all of it out. And I really just do a lot of positive self-talk when I'm up there. I remind myself of like who I am and why I'm up there. I know Jay put me up there because he trusts me. And so just a lot of that positive talk and just reminding myself that like I'm good at the event. And so I'm just going to go up there and I'm going to dominate it.
Yeah, following what Jeff said, I think it's easy from an outside looking in to kind of like, oh my gosh, there's so many people in here, and then we're on TV and all that good stuff. But honestly, whenever you're down there and in the moment, it's really just you and the team out there, and you're just kind of blocking out everything else. And what's important is what's right now and what's happening, and you want to do so good for your teammates. And so afterwards, that's when the celebration comes. But in the moment, really don't notice it too much.
What percentage of gymnastics would you say is mental versus physical?
All of it?
Yeah, all of it, 99%.
I would say probably 20% mental versus physical. Because I think that we're at the age right now where it's not so much physical reps, it's more mental reps are half the battle. And if you can get over that mental side of it, then the physical part gets easy.
And then last question, have you experienced any mental blocks this season or in the past? And if so, what did you do to work through it?
A little bit on my dismount in the preseason, a little bit, but I just reminded myself of how many good reps I've done and just try to block out the one bad dismount that I did earlier that day.
Yeah, I think following that, it's kind of easy to, if you've been doing something for so long, you can get in your head about it. We just talked about that mental performance of it, but just going back to basics, going back to the fact that we've done this skill since maybe we were like 8 to 10 years old, and it's all mental at this point. So if you can get out of your head and just kind of, letting loose a little bit, it gets a lot easier.
Is there any truth that you guys got the highest score because Jay wasn't there all week?
No. He's shaking his head right now. No, not true at all.
I had to make sure he was here before I asked that. No, but you guys did go to 198, right? So, like, how do you put that behind you? You talked about it just kind of a moment ago, but understanding, I guess, to not, you can't rest on the past.
Yeah, so we talk about focusing about the 5 minutes in front of our face, we can control what's happening right now. That's in the past, and so I think just moving forward and focusing on those things, like I said, taking like our process and the things that we did last week because it made us successful that weekend, and just taking that while we're going into Bama will be really important.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of the times when you have a not so great meet, you want to be able to turn the page. It's the same when it's exceptionally good. You want to be able to turn the page because that's in the past now, and we still have another great competitor this weekend.
This can be for both of you, but just what are you looking forward to heading to Alabama this week after setting the bar so high at last Friday?
I think we're really looking forward to be able to do our normal in a setting that we're not comfortable with. And, this past weekend should give us all the confidence in the world that, we are as good as we say we are, and we want to be able to continue to push the boundaries for this team.
I think something that some of the gymnastics fans appreciated was your coach saying Helen Who should have gotten a 10 the other night. And just as competitors, do you sometimes take a look at the other guys and, like Helen, for example, and say, wow, she's really good at what she does?
In the meet, typically we don't really look at the other team. We're focused on ourselves, and going off of that, we don't look up at the scores as well. We try to stay within us, but other than that, I
think that Helen Who is a great competitor, and I think that she has exceptional beam. I personally didn't get to see it in the PMAC, but I just know that it's top of the top, and so being able to recognize the competitors that we go against are extremely good, and they should be recognized for that as well.
So you mentioned did y'all train together growing up? I didn't realize how close Warrensburg was to Kansas City. What was it like coming from a smaller town, having to travel back and forth? I mean, that had to be a lot of effort on your family's part, on your folks' part to get you there and back. What was that like coming up and trying to? Do you think it was more difficult coming from a small town, having to, go train and come back, and then maybe it was easy for her? No, I'm kidding. I'm not saying is that. But
It was 15 minutes versus an hour.
Yeah, but it was more effort, I
Yes.
guess, involved in trying to get to this level.
Yeah, well, shout out to my parents because they drove me every single day from school. My drive was about an hour every single day. I wouldn't say it typically was like coming from a smaller town that it made it harder. It was just the fact that my town was an hour away. But I'm extremely honored that I was able to do it, and that the Gage was like that close to my gym, honestly, because I told my mom when I was younger that I wanted to go to the Olympics, and I wanted to be a collegiate gymnast, and so she was like, okay, well, we're gonna have to make the sacrifice and drive an hour. So I was down for it. I was super excited when I was a little kid.
Lee, I'm just curious where you think the team is, kind of right now, I guess, midway point through this thing. Where do you think the team is? I mean, you kind of seen a lot of gymnastics.
I think we're getting more comfortable competing, and that's what we're starting to see as the season goes on, is that, you start at the beginning of the year and a little bit nervous here and there, but I think now we're finally settling in. We're continuing to learn about ourselves as a team and what we need to be able to make it to the top.
We saw a lot of newcomers last week. Kalia was out on the floor. KJ is back, obviously. What has it been like to see this new rotation keep coming in and knowing that you guys have such powerful gymnasts, that you do have different people that can go at all times? What does that do for kind of the mentality looking forward?
Yeah, I think it's great knowing that we have so much depth on our team that we can be able to switch out lineups here and there. It's great for our teams because we compete against each other, and I think that makes us better as we continue to go through this season. And so it was great to see Kalia on vault being able to do what she does. Also great for KJ because they're exceptional athletes, and KJ's a great leader. And so to have her out there and being able to do what she does, I think it's great overall for our team.
I think going off of that, I think it's good that we don't have to rely on the same people every single time. It's good, but Aaliyah and Haley, they need a break sometimes. And so just having that depth and the people that can take their spot is really good and it's helpful.
Aaliyah, you talked about going to Alabama. We know about the intensity of the football thing and some of the other sports. What's it been like to go over there over the years? Is it an intense atmosphere?
Absolutely. I think that Alabama fans, they bring the heat, especially against LSU, but we're excited. I think they're a great team, and they have great gymnastics, but so do we. So we're going to continue to go out there and just be our normal.